Good morning and a warm welcome to Ask the Expert. Ask the Expert is an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses just like you. If you have any questions, then please comment on the live feed. If you need any more advice, join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, where accountants and business experts just like myself are on hand 24/7 to help your needs. During the live session, we'll be running a poll, so please engage with it and I'll reveal the results at the end. If you're on TikTok, check out the Be Your Own Boss competition. Pitch a new business idea and you could win investment, mentorship, and business advice to help make it a reality. Tag hashtag Be Your Own Boss to enter. The investment pot is now up to £10,000 thanks to GoCardless, adding more into the initial pot from the purposeful project. Tag hashtag Be Your Own Boss to enter. Okay, so who am I? My name is Aaron Patrick, and it's a pleasure to be with you again. I'm a chartered accountant and also a certified QuickBooks trainer with a very fancy new logo, so don't be afraid to ask me any QuickBooks related questions. I also have a new state-of-the-art accountancy firm called Boffix, which uses the best cloud technology available to help small businesses get that crucial real-time information they need at their fingertips. If you require accountancy advice, payroll training services, and even QuickBooks training, then please do get in touch. We don't want small businesses to survive, but thrive. I also have a dedicated QuickBooks YouTube channel called Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chat. So if you need any more QuickBooks news, advice, and why not go over and give the channel a follow. Finally, I'm really excited to announce that from tomorrow, we have a brand new show to announce. Me and fellow Ask the Expert Rachel from Accountants and She will be launching our brand new talk show / podcast called The Going Concern. We've just released an amazing trailer on all our social channels, and you can catch us live from 12:30 tomorrow on our YouTube channel or hers. That's where we tackle all the weird, wonderful, and wacky questions relating to accountancy. So I'd love to see you there. Okay, enough about me, and let's focus on today's session. As always, today's session is all about you and your burning questions. If you have a question, then please use any of our social channels to get in touch. So while we wait for the first of the question to arrive, let's think about some of the topics that are affecting our clients. And also, I have two public service announcements to make. Announcement number one, as I'm sure you're fully aware, the extension to lockdown has been moved back, or the extension for coming out of lockdown, should I say, has been moved back, and it's now currently the 19th of July, which means the following restrictions remain in place at the moment. Limits the number of people who can mix indoors and outdoors. Pubs, clubs, and theatres and cinemas will still have to operate at capacity limited, and limited numbers of people are allowed to attend sports events. Nightclubs will remain closed, and there are a few other restrictions as well. Best option today is to look at the government website for more information. Also to note, as of recording, the extension, or there is no extension to the furlough, so be aware that that is still to be closing at the same time. So one thing I would highly recommend you do is just to use the cash flow planner included in QuickBooks Online to give you a fighting chance and to understand exactly how your business is going to be affected by these recent changes. And remember that here on Ask the Experts, we've covered a lot of topics on how to keep your business going through this time. So you can always go back to any of the Ask the Expert episodes where we tackled that particular subject. And also, don't forget to keep looking into Ask the Expert going forward. It's going to be the best place for you to make sure that you keep up to date with any more advice to keep you and your business going through this time. My other announcement I want to make, though, is the recertification for Pro Advisor. If you're an accountant or bookkeeper with Pro Advisor status, so that means you've taken your core or your advanced course, then you only have until the end of this month to get yourself recertified. That's only half a month away. If you don't get that completed before then you will lose your status of being a Pro Advisor. So I really do think the best thing for you to do is get yourself recertified as soon as possible. Again, I did a whole dedicated video on my YouTube channel, so jump over there for more information if needed. Okay, so the topic for today, and it's inspired, funnily enough, by my latest YouTube video, is titled Why Accountants Make the Best Advisors in the World. Now, this isn't designed to bang my own drum or the profession of accountancy itself. It's just given that the year that we've had, I thought that is a real good time to reflect on what accountants themselves have been doing, how we've been able to help businesses, and let you know what the benefit to your business will be. And with that in mind, I have 5 reasons why we have, or why accountants make the best, start that again. We have 5 reasons why we get to be the best pro advisor or best advisors in the world. And I'm going to start now with reason number 1, which is all about why we benefit if you succeed. So if you think about it, and let's be completely frank here, as a business ourselves, as accountants, we're obviously looking to make money. We're looking to sell our particular services and make sure our services are worthwhile in the process. So we're obviously going to have to charge for those services, but that actually means that actually having an accountant as your advisor is a benefit to you. And the reason for that is actually, if you think about it, we need you as a business. We need your business to not only survive, but as Buffett says, to thrive as well. Because the better that you do as a business, the better that we give advice, the more that we improve our relationship and we help you in a business go forward, ultimately, the more successful we can be as an accountant during that time. So we have an actual interest in making sure your business survives. We have an actual interest in making sure your business grows. That's the whole point of us being an accountant in the first place. So we have a full number 1 reason into getting you into being that best your business can be. So we benefit if you succeed, and that's my number 1 or my first reason as to why we make great business advisors. The next one is we see the whole picture. If you think about it as an accountant, as someone who's looking after your business, not only do we understand what's going on with your business and we understand those numbers, which is so crucial when it comes to understanding how to be able to advise someone and what to do with it when it comes to it, but we see every single part of those numbers. So we understand that if we were to give you advice to go out there and pay for some marketing expenses that are going to cost you X amount of pounds, then we already know and done the due diligence that you should be able to afford to be able to pay that actual money and be able to afford to take on that advice. And that's something that's really crucial. Other advisors, they don't see that whole picture. They may have some great insights into what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, and everything else. But unless you know the numbers, unless you understand exactly where your business is at, then you can't understand fully how to give that advice. So the fact that as accountants, we can see every single aspect of your business, we can see all the little nooks and crannies and understand everything that's going on, not just the numbers, but also how your business is doing by talking and explaining and understanding the numbers or understanding how to get to numbers in the first place, then we're in a really, really good position. So that's why we feel that, having all that knowledge, understanding all of that information is so crucial to us. That's why we ask all these questions as accountants. We want to understand the numbers. We want to figure out what's going on. But that also means that we should be able to have all of the knowledge that we need to be able to advise you fully. So, given us the opportunity to see all those numbers in the first place gives us a great chance to be able to go out there and see the whole picture and make sure that we can advise you properly. The next one is number 3, and it's we have been there, done that, or if we haven't, we know a client who has. So as accountants, and especially the accountants on here on Ask the Expert, we've all had to set up our own business. We've all had to go through a lot of the pains that you're going through, a lot of the growth issues that you may be going through as well. So we most of the time has been there, done that. When it comes to having to push ourselves on social or having to put ourselves on a website or having to go through and expand our team or whatever those particular issues are that your current business is facing, then normally as an accountant, we've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. And that's because we practice what we preach. We are businesses ourselves. We know that we need to go and treat our business like we would treat any other business, or at least advise any other business out there. So if we have some advice that we're trying to give, most of the time it's because we've either had to swallow the same pill and had to do the same issues that we've gone through, or we've had to go and get and try it out ourselves, maybe make a few mistakes along the way, but ultimately we've had to do exactly what it is we've done. So we have to practice what we preach. Now, if we haven't done any particular piece of advice, then normally we would have at least had a client who's been there, done that, and got the t-shirt as well. So we were in a really good position, not only to be able to advise on stuff that we think is right, and we think using the whole picture and thinking about what's actually going on, but actually we've normally been able to see it work in practice as well. And we've seen what issues people have come across when they try and implement these particular procedures, because we've either been there ourselves or we've seen a client who's done it also. So it's a great position to be in to help small businesses and help people get going forward. My fourth reason for it, though, is the term value. And it's the whole idea is we understand the term value. Now, value is one of those words that actually really, really can be frustrating, especially to me, because I feel like the term value doesn't get understood on a regular basis because it's so complex. It's such a big term where it's actually really difficult to understand what the term value is. And that's because every single business has a different definition of what their value is or what value is to them. And every single business out there will base the term value based on what it is that their business does and who their customers are and who their suppliers are and what their ultimate business goals are. So the idea of value gets pushed around a lot, and a lot of advisors and business people out there, they talk about value, they talk about added value, they keep talking and referring to this term value, but they don't really be able to give you any of substance as to what that exactly means for your particular business. And again, as an accountant, we can see that, understand, and we can understand that term value. We can understand it. We can quantify value for you, and we can actually make it so that the term value actually makes sense, actually has a term to it. And we can also make sure that from looking at the numbers and understanding how those numbers are, that we can actually set goals and actually see that that value is actually being shown to you in your business. So the term value being such a frustrating term most of the time, because, what is value? How do I increase value? And it just becomes a word, a term that can just be so split between everything that's out there. We can actually make sure that we have a value and we can actually understand that term, and we can make sure that you and your business can understand it as well. So I think that's a really important point, because we don't just say, let's increase your value, let's change your value. We actually can put actual numbers to it and make it work well for you. And finally, by far my most important part of this topic, and the fifth one there, is the fact that we as accountants, we love helping businesses. Businesses themselves is the reason that we became an accountant in the first place. We love helping businesses. That's why we're accountants. For us, there's nothing better. There's no better feeling to be able to go to a business, help them change the way that they've started out from day one to where they are now, and be able to see that growth and see that change. That's why we become an accountant. That's what the whole point of an accountant is in the first place, and why we're driven to be in what we are in the profession we're in. And we don't just care about it from the numbers point of view, but we care about it from all aspects of business. We become accountants because we have that need or that requirement to want to go out there and help others. And that's where it becomes really, really crucial when it comes to being business advisors, because you need to have people who are actually invested in your business, understand your business, and want your business to succeed. And as accountants, we're inherently, that's what we care about. That's what we want. That's why we are doing what we do. So that is my 5 reasons why we as accountants are, in my opinion, the best advisors in the world. Now, hopefully you've been able to follow along with that. If not, we did do a little video, as I said before, about exactly that, and we went through and explained those in a little bit more detail. So do use that and go forward from there. So with that then, let's go to the first question of the day. Remember, if you have any burning questions, then get them asked in the comment section of the video and get yourself involved, because this whole session of Ask the Expert, as always, is all about you. So question number 1 then, Megan on Twitter DMs asks, how do I run a report for the number of nominal codes in QuickBooks? And can you add or customize them? Great question there from Megan. So the idea here that Megan is asking is that she wants to be able to run a report for the number of nominal codes in QuickBooks Online. So what she's caring about there is that when she gets a transaction that appears in QuickBooks Online, where or what's she going to post that against? Now, normally when it comes to posting something in QuickBooks Online, you do have that option of just being able to go into the category field, start typing away what you think it's going to be, and normally that particular item is going to pop up. So for example, if you went to PC World and you wanted to put computer expenses in, you would start typing the word computer expenses and it should come up appropriately. But that's not always going to be the best solution, especially if you want to be very particular in where things are posted, because sometimes where you post something can be really critical in the information that comes out on the other end, and can make sure that either the tax is correct, or more importantly, could even understand how your business is doing and be able to understand what the actual impact of posting to a particular category is going to be. So what Megan's asking here is, how do we get a list of everything that we've got so that we can see those items and even see the numbers that have already been posted against it? Well, it's dead straightforward. If you go to the left-hand panel and go to accounting, you'll see that there is an option there for chart of accounts. Chart of accounts is basically a list of all of your nominal codes. That's the whole point of the term chart of account. It gives you every single nominal code that's there, gives you a chance to add new ones, it gives you a chance to edit ones that were originally there, and also gives you a chance to print them out as well. Final pro tip on that as well, if you want to, you can go into your settings within QuickBooks Online and you can turn on numbers to nominal account. What that means is it gives you a choice of having numbers and or the name as well. And that means that you can actually start bringing in numbers that you might be used to. For example, if you've come from a system where 5,000 was purchases, then you will have the opportunity to put 5,000 against purchases in QuickBooks Online, which means that you then can utilize that going forward. So I highly recommend that one. That's a pro tip there going forward. But yeah, Megan, best thing to do, accounting, chart of accounts, and in the top right-hand corner, you have the option to run a report giving you all your nominal codes in QuickBooks Online. Next one is Spencer on Facebook Messenger. It asks, I'm a counsellor but pivoted to digital remote sessions through the pandemic. Well done, Spencer. That's great news. I'm looking to pick up some clients internationally now, but I'm unsure of the best and cheapest way to receive payments. Is PayPal my best option? Are there any others? That's a fantastic question there, Spencer. And it's a question that a lot of people have found massively important to them lately, because as Spencer's just shown there, a lot of businesses have had to pivot to online to be able to get themselves through the pandemic. Now, when it comes to what is the best actual, what is the best or cheapest option to actually go there and receive payments, there is no one shoe fits all, unfortunately. Now, if you are using QuickBooks Online, though, PayPal itself is the most convenient and currently the cheapest because of the special offer that's on, but that is because it integrates purely with QuickBooks Online. Now, the way it works is it gives you an opportunity to be able to send an invoice out with a Pay Now button embedded directly in that invoice. So when you send that invoice out, that invoice has a Pay Now button there, all powered through PayPal, and gives the opportunity for your customer to make payments there. Now, we were given a sneak peek at the last QuickBooks Connect about a new feature that's coming soon to QuickBooks, where it gives you the opportunity to actually get direct bank payments through that Pay Now button as well, giving you the choice, do you want to accept it by the PayPal method, or do you want to get it accepted by a really secure and really clever link that basically means that you are handing out your bank details without physically handing out your bank details, which is going to be a really cool feature. So they're going to be the two options that are going to be included directly in QuickBooks, and they're the only two which natively integrate with QuickBooks. So if you want convenience, if you want to be able to make it so it's dead straightforward and simple, then they're the two that I would go for. Also, consideration for Go Cardless as well, because that is also integration into QuickBooks, but doesn't quite fit what your particular needs are. But if you are looking at going for a more kind of ongoing subscription-based service in the future, then Go Cardless would be perfect as well. And again, integrates beautifully with QuickBooks Online and gives you those options. So they're the two or three that I would say is the best ones to be included in QuickBooks. But if you're willing to use a bit of a third-party application and look around, then that opens you up to everything else. So that's the beauty of QuickBooks Online. You're not just restricted to those three that are integrated natively. You have the option of going to the App Store and integrate whichever you want. So you can use Stripe, you can use Square, you can use any e-commerce platform you can think of, and you can integrate them beautifully within QuickBooks. You just won't have that exact tight integration that you get with PayPal, but at least you can still have it so that it can be sent for you. As an example, we have a client that every time they send an invoice out, automatically it will send a follow-on email through Stripe, and that will then request that money from them. So it's not quite one-to-one with having a pay now button on your invoice, but it's as close as you can get with third-party solutions. So have a look at that App Store and put it there. And that is a great topic that we can always bring into a future video on the channel as well. Hopefully that's helped you, Spencer. Good luck with that one. Reach out if you do have any more questions. They're the sort of options that we love to solve here at Boffix. So Francis on Twitter DMs asks, what if you start that one again. What if you want business advice from your accountant, but they don't seem to understand the industry you're in very well? Should you give them time or find a new one? Francis, that is a fantastic question, and one where honestly you've got it spot on. You really do need to find an accountant that knows your industry. The beauty of it now is that we have opportunity to have accountants all over the world, and that's why, as an accountant myself, I have no issue whatsoever with helping and supporting other accountants and other people in my remit, because at the end of the day, there's so many opportunities out there. There's so many different niches out there. There's so many different ways in which, as an accountant, we can help each other, that there's always going to be room for multiple accountants, and that's a good thing. The more accountants there are, the more we're pushing the progression, the more we're pushing our industry, the more opportunities that we are going to be able to help small businesses just like yourself. And you're right, make sure you find an accountant that really understands your niche, because every business has their own needs and has their own wants. And even in our firm, we know that our particular niches are X, Y, and Z, and they're the ones we concentrate on, and they're the ones we make sure we have all of the advice that we can give for them. And we do that because it makes us better accountants for those particular clients. Now, obviously, we can help any client out there pretty much, but really we want to be focused on the ones that we are laser focused on, because they're the ones that we can give the most value to. Going back to that term value, we can actually make sure that we're giving them not just information about their numbers, is it good, is it bad, but actually look at other industry and how the industry is going, what the expectations going to be, how or what this going to change in the next couple of weeks, months, years. That's where an accountant really does come into the flurry, and having the opportunity to be there and talk to a niche one is important. See, for us to get our expert status in the actual areas that we want to talk about and actual niche areas that we want to be good at, we had to do a lot of research. We had to talk to a lot of different clients. We had to be involved in the community that's part of those structures. And the only way that we can be that and continue to be that is also to continue to be up to date and be involved in those communities. So that's why, having that accountant that fits your niche is so important and going forward. And if you really do want to get business advice from an accountant, you're never going to go far wrong from an accountant who specializes in your niche. So yeah, Francis, that is a great question. And hopefully that's put your mind at rest. Isabel on Facebook Messenger asks, plan on doing my QuickBooks recertification this week. Well done. And don't worry, it's not too late yet. Although you do say, I know I left it late. Wanted to play it around first and having trouble with the demo company. Has it moved? What should I be navigating to? Isabel, to get to your demo company is dead straightforward. Get yourself signed into the QuickBooks accountant. And from there, you'll see in the top right-hand corner, you've got your company cog. From there, you've got company settings. And fifth one down, if my memory serves me right, is the demo company. From there, you'll get yourself into Longfall Successful Events Limited, which is our demo company, and you can play with it to your heart's content. Failing that, there is another link as well. It doesn't quite take you to the QuickBooks accountant demo company. So personally, I would prefer, my first port of call will be log into your QBOA account, so that's QuickBooks Online account, and get yourself into the company cog and demo company. A clarification on that one, you have to go through as your accountant's login there. So make sure you've got that grey bar on the left-hand side to be able to make sure in your QBOA, so QuickBooks Online Accountant dashboard. That's when your company account or company settings is there. That's when you'll have the opportunity to bring that demo company. If though you don't have access to that for whatever reason, then just find any of my videos, and on there is a link there to a demo company that you can drum up and use at any point. So any of my videos, have a click on there, go to the link tree there, and you'll see there's an opportunity for a load of resources regarding QuickBooks, and one of them is a demo company. So feel free to use that one as well. Hopefully that's helped you, Francis. Sorry, Isabel, I do apologize for that one. Okay, next question then. Caroline on Instagram DMs asks, I'm a bit confused how to log cash on QuickBooks. I'm a domestic cleaner. A lot of my clients pay in cash, and a few expenses I pay, I use cash for this. How do I log this? Great question there, Caroline. And it's a question that we get asked quite a lot, because obviously businesses would be wonderful if they just all ran through their bank account, because remember, with QuickBooks Online, you get that wonderful option of being able to connect your bank account to QuickBooks Online, which basically means that if like magic, all those transactions are fed directly into QuickBooks, meaning that you won't have any issues with errors or being able to makes it a lot quicker, and it's all round a great time. But just as Caroline just said here, not always is that going to be the case, because sometimes you are going to have cash transactions from time to time. Now, my best advice for you on this one is use the technology, use the information that's in front of you. So you'll notice that when you log into QuickBooks Online, first thing you'll see is your dashboard. On the dashboard will be those bank accounts that you've connected, but also there's space there for other cash accounts and bank accounts as well. So what I would do in this situation is I would create multiple cash accounts, ones that you understand and ones that you can reconcile at any point in time. For example, if back at the office you have a petty cash tin that's green, then don't be afraid to create a cash account called Petty Cash Tin Green. Have that shown directly on that dashboard just there. Then if you also go around and you have a little cash bag that you take with you to be able to take all the money, then create another account called Cash Bag, and exactly what it's called there. Now, the reason you want to keep these separate is because when it comes to then posting transactions and putting transactions there, you want to be going against those individual cash pots, not just creating one big cash pot and hope for the best. But if you create those individual cash pots, then every time you log into QuickBooks, straight away, as soon as you log in, presented to you on that right-hand side will be those numbers that are important to you. And those numbers will be the balance in those cash accounts. So you will log in and you'll see straight away that I have £100 in my petty cash tin and I have £150 in my cash bag, for example. If, for example, that was negative £200 or negative or £6,500 or whatever the numbers are that are unrealistic and untrue, then that gives you responsibility to have a look at that, reach out to people if you need to, but you know then that something's not quite right. If though you log in and all those numbers look reasonable to you, then you know you're into a good place. So how do you post transactions there? Go to your sales receipt or your expenses. So that's sales receipt or expenses from the new button. And from there, make sure you drop down where the money is being paid from. So it will probably default to maybe your bank account. You need to drop that down to either your petty cash tin or from your cash as well. And then from there, you can then put the expense or the sales receipt. So as an expense, you're going to be saying what it is you've bought, and as a sales receipt, what it is you've received. Don't forget as well, on QuickBooks Online, you can use the mobile app, take a photo of it, of any expenses you incur, and they will come in automatically for you. And depending on what system you use to record your sales, or at least get your clients to be able to book yourself in or anything like that. If you have a third-party CRM solution that you're managing your sales for your domestic cleaning, then there may be an opportunity to use the App Store to connect them up to QuickBooks to get that information to flow directly in for you. They're the options I would use, and they're the solutions I would have in there. But Caroline, hopefully that's been enough information for you. Hopefully you'll be able to take those options and take those questions and be able to succeed from there. Good luck with it. And that's it. That is another half an hour of Ask the Expert gone just like that. What a session it's been today. Some absolutely amazing questions coming through. So please do keep those questions coming. Please do ask them, because again, Ask the Expert is all about you and your burning questions. So I was asking you for a poll during the session, and the poll results are in. We asked you the following: are you happy with the latest announcements in restrictions? And astoundingly, 100% of you said no. Completely understand that one, but do remember that as bad as it sounds that we are having restrictions again, we're in a far better position than we were at this time last year. I know a lot of business out there are still struggling. You know, we see it day in, day out, but please do bear with the country at the moment. We're going to get out of this all together, and we're going to come out better than ever before. So thank you for tuning in this morning, or tuning in this morning, I should have said. If you want to get in contact with me, then you can send a message at hello@boffix.com. Coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow, we have an absolute cracker. Judith Dugdale, a friend of mine, accountant and head of digital solutions at MHA Moore and Smalley. Great accounting firm, that one. Tune in to learn how to manage your cash flow through faster invoicing and faster payments. I certainly will be in tomorrow. I've got some questions already lined up for her. So do make sure that you give Judith a show tomorrow. A reminder that if you need any more advice, join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accountants and business experts just like myself are on hand 24/7. And don't forget to be your own boss competition on TikTok. Pitch your new business ideas, and you could win investment, mentorship, and business advice. The investment pot is now £10,000. Thanks to Go Cardless, adding more into the initial pot from the purposeful project. Tag hashtag be your own boss to enter. Make sure you get yourself involved in that. I really enjoyed answering questions today. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this one for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.